Welcome back to Chasing the Target, and today we had the biggest upset of the World Cup so far. This is why they call the T20 World Cup the most unpredictable format. I have with me Faz and Rayan. Man, no one was expecting that. I know we saw something similar in 2011, but in this format, the way this England team is set up, we didn't expect that. Losing by 5 runs thanks to Duckworth Lewis against Ireland. Rayan, your initial thoughts, man?
Thoughts was, very poor batting by the English, and especially in the first 10 overs, very poor bowling by the English as well. I'd say Ireland, except for a couple of drops in the field and a few silly mistakes at the end, they were pretty much dominant the entire match. They didn't give England a sniff until, probably the 15th, 16th over of their own innings. But, it was very impressive from the way Ireland played today.
100%. And Faiz, bhai, pura surprise ho gaya, pura change ho gaya. The dynamics have changed in the group. Anyone can qualify now. Everyone was saying Australia are on the brink, but now England are also on the brink. That England-Australia game at the G on Friday is going to be a virtual quarterfinal.
Yeah, I think the gods also want the tournament to get more excited. But like fair play to Ireland. I mean, they did play well, but I think England then capitalized when they were losing those lots of wickets in the middle. Like with Ireland, there were only two people who stood out, but after that, there were a little bit of a collapse. But they could have started closing the gates earlier rather than stall and let that. I think 16 odd runs or 25 odd runs that went in the end. And batting wise, I don't know. Still, you guys, Don and you are a big fan of Josh Butler, but we still haven't seen anything from him. So I think we'll come back to that as well.
Don recommended him as captain today in your fantasy picks. So That didn't turn out.
But I think even if they would have played it out, I think it's very harsh on England because they did just lose about 13 runs there. From 13 runs, I think 64.
6 runs.
6 runs. The last ball 13 tha, DLS jo tha. So it's just unfortunate to see it, but it makes it for the neutral or for us at least, it makes it more exciting, the tournament, just to see that now Australia and England both will actually have to really pull up their socks.
Yeah. And Butler, if you guys saw his post-match, he was not giving any excuses. He said this is not acceptable. We have to. This hurts, and we can't brush this under the carpet. It was a poor performance. He didn't talk about what Faz said was very valid. I think if the game ended England, for me, they were like 80-20 still to win the game because Moeen Ali was striking at 200. This still has Sam going to come. I felt that. Sorry?
Livingston was right. Still.
Livingston got out right just before.
I don't know.
No.
It
wasn't Livingston, it was Brook. Harry Brook had got out.
Yeah, Moeen Ali was batting with Livingston.
Livingston, yes. Livingston came in at number 7 today.
Yeah, they're already batting. And then you had Sam Curran still to come. So there was plenty of batting. Wokes was there. So I thought England would still win. But I think Butler is right. Like, you can't really make that as an excuse. They didn't bat well at all. Even with the ball, Ireland bowled much better, I felt. And they were the deserved team. That delivery to Ben Stokes, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Fionn hand.
The ball of the tournament, the way it swung in. But they even though they bowled in the second innings, they really made use of that Ireland, and they showed England how to bowl on this pitch. So credit to them there, man.
There was a graphic on the TV when I was watching that Ireland extracted 2.1 degrees of swing in the first 10 overs as compared to England's 1.3, mostly because Ireland, I think, bowled 52% of their balls in the short and not short actually, full and good length, whereas England more than 50% of their balls were short of the length, especially in the first 10 overs. That's why they got hit. And
that's where Mark Wood maybe got a bit carried away because extra pace, playing in Australia and everything. You saw that he did get a wicket at third man, and there's a drop catch before that as well initially. But I think you're right. They got a bit carried away with that extra pace and bounce, whereas Ireland just they realized these are more British conditions and they utilized it better in that way, and they got more wickets in the power play. First, the way Ireland batted, man, in the in the first 10 overs, there were 90 odd.
92 for 1.
They look completely. They look so steady and they look like composed, like they really worked on themselves. But unfortunately, you saw like a string of wickets just fall. I think it was the spinner who took it. I forgot his name. Not Adil Rashid.
It was most. I think it was Mark Wood
Yeah,
and
Mark Wood. Yeah, sorry. Mark Wood and
Mark Wood.
Livingstone, the
Yeah,
spinner. Yeah, with
Livingston, Mark Wood.
Livingstone took
Yes.
3 wickets. Yeah, he bowled amazing, and he bowled exactly to the conditions. Like that, what the commentator was saying that according to the conditions, what it deserved, good length, and like Ryan mentioned, the good length and the little fuller delivery. That's what he was mostly bowling. He looked really good. A fast bowler, all of them really got smashed. Vokes got smashed. I think he got smashed some 35 to 40 runs. And then Wood was
41 and 3 overs.
yeah, and that's very expensive for a T20 and for a bowler of his level. So yeah, uh, Ireland were looking strong, and I was watching the innings where the captain, Balburney and the Tucker, they were actually on a
Lachlan
very
Tucker.
good partnership. Yeah, they were on a very good run, but then unfortunately after Tucker got out, then they just couldn't be steady enough to like sort of carry the innings. Because I was expecting a 180 or a 190 from them, to be very honest.
I
Yeah,
think just like I'm going to draw some parallels between Ireland's innings and Pakistan's innings against India, because they didn't need to go for the risky shots that early in the innings with those many wickets in hand. They just tried to overdo their shot making and gave away some cheap wickets. I know Livingston, he took those three, but I don't think any of those balls were wicket taking balls per se. They could have pushed around, get those twos, threes, got those twos, threes, push their scope beyond 175 plus easily. That if they had followed that tactic, last 2-3 overs, Wokes was vulnerable, scene of Mark Wood, and then they could have gone in the last 3 overs, get to a good score by the 17th over. But still, granted, the Duckworth Lewis method came into play, and especially as you mentioned, Sabai, their bowling was fabulous. At least in the first 10 overs, their bowling was fabulous.
yeah, 100%. I agree with that. I just, for me, I don't know what it is, man. This England team, when I look at it, it's so good on paper, and they mess, but they do. Whether it's, I knew that bowling would be an issue for them when you don't have like 3, 4 of your bowlers, but still, I felt that. With this bowling lineup, you should be beating Ireland. And Butler said this in his press conference. He said that, listen, I understand everything. We don't take any team lightly, but we need to beat Ireland. We can't be losing games like these. And this just completely changes the whole complexion of the whole tournament of the group. And England, who are looking favorites, are now on the brink. Vinay is asking, is 150 plus a good target at the MCG? I think so. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, if
That's
you see
right.
it against our match in 160, with Zabardast dikh raha tha, target India Pakistan. So if you lose the quick wickets like today, these guys lost. Like England lost the quick openers. By beautiful bowling by Josh Little, and I think that makes a very big difference. If you get 1 or 2 wickets, you lose it them quickly, then that 150 would seem like a 200, or like a 180 at least.
Yeah, Don is
So,
saying DRS should be scrapped and another system, but I think he's talking about DLS. I hope.
DLS, I said.
Yeah, because DR, I
Yeah.
mean, if he thinks DRS should be scrapped, that's also an opinion. Like, I think he's still pissed off about that Ajmal delivery in 2011. Maybe that's what he wants DRS scrapped. But yeah, I think to that point, what Fez was saying, 150 plus does look like a good target, and we're seeing that there's no not much due or anything like that. So actually, I think semifinals, finals, winning the toss and batting first might be crucial with the pressure and
Yeah.
everything. The pitches might crumble as well, especially in the SCG. If there's a semi-final there, I think, and then
Semi-finals in Adelaide. Yeah, one
this is
is in
one in
Adelaide
Adelaide and
and
one in SCG, right?
one is SCG, and the finals at MCG. Yeah.
MCG. So MCG is hosting a lot of games, so it might crumble in the finals. There might be batting first, might be a big advantage. So it's going to be a bit different this World Cup, and I'm enjoying it honestly. Like these surprises, I couldn't believe it. Like I'll tell you honestly, I didn't think Ireland will win this game, but credit to them,
Yeah.
and the way they played was outstanding.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's good from a perspective of like the smaller teams coming in, but thoda bahut mazak kirkira ho ja raha hai. Like you want to also see the cricket and play it out of against
Basically,
अगर
you
का
want to
नजर
see
अगर
England
अपने
India
अगेंस्ट
semi-final. You don't want
अगर
to see
अपने
Ireland
अगेंस्ट
India.
नहीं अपने का युवराज कैफ नहीं है यार so I'm just saying like if Netherlands tomorrow bats and we were unable to get the Duckworth Lewis पिटने में क्या जा रहा है अपन लाभी so and it's you have to think about these things as well
Yeah, exactly. I agree with it.
that's
Reserve
not
day is
worth it.
one.
Not worth Lewis, not
Yeah.
worth it. So I mean, it's just scary to think about it from an Indian fan
I mean,
perspective.
uh,
And thoda harsh bhi are given this situation, Moeen Ali and Livingstone could bring them home easily.
Yeah.
Livingstone is a very
And
good
they were-
hitter, and yeah, Moeen Ali showing a experience again. Like in the first match, he calmed the situation down 24. Kuch mara aake unhe. So I mean, if you really think about it, England even had like some 5-6 overs. Aram se they would have brought it home, but अगर कल को इंडिया पे आए तो अपन तो अम्मा बहन के देने वाले
Yes.
सिस्टम को, so you know, so I think what Don is currently saying, you know, rightfully saying that, you know, DLS को थोड़ा सोचना भाई, थोड़ा या तो
अब आप
थोड़ा time
bilateral
दो.
series, exactly. ये bilateral series में DLS system, you know, doesn't mean much, too much, you know, except the world ranking. But in the crunch tournament like the T20 World Cup, DLS system के लिए there are many better alternatives that you can use. You have a reserve day, you know, play the rest of the match somewhere else later. There are so many options that you have. So
Bowl out.
Or just drive 15-20 minutes and go to that indoor stadium in
yeah,
London.
that's also
Yes,
another option, you know. Roof khulao सीधा हम लोग आ रहे हैं अंदर
Yeah.
उनके, you know. That's another option. But I mean that's not being realistic, but there are DLS system, I think that if you put to work, they can do better on that.
No, for a T20 situation, you cannot predict it on the basis of like a DLS because वो एक ओवर में 15-20 मार ले सकता. So in a situation like in a T20, तुम कभी भी in a given over 24 अपने को Kohli hit 20 runs, right, of I think Haris Rock's
वहाँ पे
over.
बारिश पड़ गई तो 28 पे
तो अपन जीत जाते थे यार, I think.
TV फेंक देने वाला था.
नहीं, India would have lost, right? If, like in the
Yeah, we would have
I
lost.
think 16-17
Yeah,
over में
Yeah, so like in the T20 ओवर वो पूरा चेंज हो जाता पर्सपेक्टिव. एक ओवर से अगर एक बुरा ओवर हो गया, जैसे अक्षर का ओवर हुआ था और नवाज का ओवर हुआ था, for both the teams that changed the dynamic of the whole game. So I think वैसा कुछ सोचना है in that perspective.
and you know, by the way, the most hard done by right now in this whole world is South Africa. भाई उन्हें धज्जियां उड़ा दिया था Quinton de Kock. He completely smashed it in 3
अरे रयान बबूमा 2 रन मारा है खाली.
2 बॉल 2 रन. खैर उसको डिकॉक को मालूम था ना, you know, कि अगर मैं बबूमा को दिया तो डकवर्थ लूज रही नहीं तो भी हारने वाले हम लोग. So that's why he took the responsibility and said, you know, soon I will take over the captaincy as well. So basically वही था. But आप बोले तो the thing is, ये also rain effect से पूरे न्यूजीलैंड अफगानिस्तान a very interesting match I was looking for to वो भी wash out हो गया.
ये वर्जिल वैन डाइक सिस्टम क्या बोल रहा है विनय भाई?
What is a VJD system?
VJD system कहते.
But I'll tell you something, you know, Ran, also in 2019, I was complaining a lot about the rain, and that not just me, a lot of people were saying that ki bhai England mein nahi rakhna, there's too much rain, and it turned out to be the best final that the world has seen in 50 overs. So
cheating करे यार England, cheating करे, run complete नहीं करा.
It was a spectacle, right? The game itself was a spectacle.
Course,
so I think even like, you know, for example, like Pakistani fans are complaining about that no ball, or even Indian fans will complain about a few things, but this imperfection in the game makes the game more beautiful.
A little bit of controversy, you know, never has harmed you sometimes, you know.
Yeah,
it always increases the entertainment.
It increases entertainment and it makes it for more viewing. And hopefully, as we get into November, I think the final is November 12th, 13th, like that. So as we get into November, that'll be picking up summertime in Australia. So hopefully the rain does die out. But right now, I agree with both of you. Right now, people are getting screwed left, right, and center with this DLS, man.
अरे भाई कल को अपने हुआ तो सोचा यार दिल.
Yeah.
कोहली के
especially on paper against those, you know, those weak opponents. जब अगर DLS हुआ, so that is the most frustrating thing. Especially, you know, when you are granted like on the win predictor, win list पे अब 98% आपका win है, and suddenly third बोल के बारिश हो गई, and you know you are finished, आपका वो 2 points guaranteed points चले गए आपके. फिर क्या करेंगे? So authorities have to come to a consensus and, you know, put in place a better system.
Especially for a T20 because
yes.
At least for a T20 because भाई बहुत छोटा गेम है and उसमें एक ओवर बहुत फर्क पड़ जाता. Like I said previously के तुम 20 मार ले सकते हैं आराम से. Give one more over, maybe, you know, Livingstone would have gone for like hit 3 sixes.
मेरे को तो वही दिख रहा था. Like again, we don't know what's going to happen in cricket. मगर मेरे को वही दिख रहा था England will chase it because the way England play the cricket, and the thing is, I was reading this report is very interesting because now you flip it, right? If India is in this position, or like maybe a Pakistan also to a certain extent, the tail starts coming in, so you don't know what's going to happen. India might not chase it down if they're 6 down or whatever, right? Because you have like Bhuvi and these guys to come. Whereas in England, you're not taking into account that Sam Curran is still there, Vokes, so there's no system to take that into account. It's very difficult to calculate that. So it is different. Like
Shaheen Afridi mara haro chakka pind.
वो भी like expect नहीं कर रहे थे, right? Like
मैं वही बोल रहा ना, like शाहीन आफरीदी मार दे रहा, चाचू मार दे रहे.
चाचू तो खैर
चाचू को चांस ही नहीं मिलता. हम लोग हर मैच में 15-15 ओवर खेल लेते. बाबर रिजवान चाचू को चांस ही नहीं देते. चांस दियो चाचू फॉर्म्स ब्रो. क्या बोलते रहे यार?
चाचू के साथ दिनार बोलो.
चाचू को चांस मिला तो दिखा दिया ना चाचू. अब
Yeah.
पूरे बाबर सामने बोलेंगे चलो अपन थोड़ा रिस्क लेके खेलेंगे. चाचू है ना अपने को संभाल लेते बात.
Yeah. Yeah, I think anything else you wanted to talk about this game, the England Ireland game? Any particular thing that you noticed or anything like that? I
What
know.
happened to Josh Butler, bro?
Yeah,
Don't
वो super
say
shot
what.
खेला. You didn't need to go that early. Second ball, just a heave towards
Yeah,
cow corner. And
and
yeah, see that got behind.
Ben Stokes
Paul
scored a
wasn't
free
even
foul.
doing much. Oh man,
Yeah.
Ben Stokes was unplayable. You can't do anything about those.
Man, yeah, like if England get knocked out, that's going to be a bit depressing. I don't know. I just like their players. They play such good
Yeah,
T20 cricket. Without them
but
in
it's
the
England.
semi-final,
If it's England, as an Indian fan, I don't want England to make it past the group
England
stages.
always like
I'd
England
rather
always have a good team, यार. They always have a well balanced team,
Yeah.
but कुछ तो भी हो जाता है उन लोगों को. Always they come up short in like some aspect. फिर
और एक चीज है कि
end में आ जाते वापस अंदर. अरे
I know वो भी है.
घसीट लो and
But-
then they finally like reach a semi-final or something. But
Yeah.
कचरा खेलो तो बहुत कचरा खेलते हैं. फिर कुछ तो भी
Exactly.
उनको उकसाना पड़ता. So I
Black
don't
and
know
white
उनका
का
क्या
situation.
problem है. हाँ.
But Musa bhai, I think one more thing we have to say कि ये team में बहुत सारे लोग injury से वापस आ रहे हैं. You've got guys like Mark Wood. You've got who is this guy? Liam Livingston, Josh Butler. These people who have been injured recently, and it's going to take about 10-12 matches for them to find that touch again that they had generated.
that's a very good
And,
point.
they were coming.
That's a very good
They were
point.
coming.
It's
Yeah.
just that we weren't expecting them, even
Yeah.
like a half-fit Butler. We expect them to perform against Ireland. That's just our expectation. But I think that's a very good point. They're coming back from injury. They are rusty. If this was a fully fit England, and England, honestly, they do have some bad luck as well in terms of injuries. कोई ना कोई injure होते रहता है उन लोगों के पास, like Bairstow, Archer. These guys not there as well, and there's plenty of players who have been missing throughout the last couple of years because of injuries. So that's it's not an excuse,
That's
but
a
it's
fair point. No, it's a fair point to take into consideration. But like, अभी तुम आयरलैंड के जैसे टीम से अगर ऐसा, बट उन लोगों की bowling, yes, not taking out.
Ireland, yes.
थोड़ा
Ireland के ऊपर ऐसा
हर बंदा वहाँ पे जो खेल रहा है इंग्लैंड में T20 एक्सपीरियंस है, तो वो कोई एक्सक्यूज नहीं है. लाइक दे नो द सिचुएशन एंड दे नो द सर्कमस्टेंसेस. हाउ इंजरी से वापस आ रहे हैं आप. ऑब्वियसली आप वार्म अप मैचेस नहीं खेल पाए, बट थोड़ा बहुत तो आप बेसिक तो आप संभाल ले सकते. तो 150 फॉर देम डिडंट सीम लाइक अ वेरी बिग थिंग बिकॉज़ ऑन देयर द टीम दे हैव ऑन शीट. सो अब उसके हिसाब से अगर अपन सोचे तो या मे बी दे शुड हैव रियली एक मैच ऑलरेडी खेल के देख लिए सिचुएशन क्या है, और ये तो इनके हिसाब से आराम से ना पीट देते थे.
Yeah, Don is saying captain's curse. New Zealand will be upset too about that point. Yeah, Afghanistan New Zealand का game ही नहीं हुआ. They will be disappointed.
अरे यार
That
मेरे
group is now blown wide open because of all these washouts and ये upsets की वजह से. Very interesting group one now. अपन जो ऐसे lock समझे थे न्यूजीलैंड ऑस्ट्रेलिया बेकार खेल के the thing with these upsets है Mustafa and Faiz bhai कि the bigger games become even bigger now. It becomes more fun to watch them. So that's one thing I love about these upsets.
They're forced to play in a knockout situation, so it'll be interesting how they play. They'll have to go for the kill. They'll have to take risks. Whereas, if you do beat the smaller teams, then the bigger games you could be a bit conservative. But over here, you'll have to go for it full throttle. That game on Friday, if it doesn't win, is going to be outstanding. England versus Australia.
Biggest match of this group is Afghanistan versus Ireland.
Yeah, it's going to be. He picked Livingston and Curran, and both performed. Yeah, man, but like Moin Ali, I picked.
I picked Livingston as well.
Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up this game. England, honestly, they. I was very surprised now that game against Australia, like we said, is going to be a big game. Let's see what happens. Ireland, outstanding cricket. I was reading this article on Cricinfo as well, talking about how this new age team now is like turning a different chapter. The younger team now. There's only I think two players from that 2011 win against
Paul
England.
Sterling and George Dockrell.
Yeah, earlier article बोल रहा है.
वो article में वो जाके मैच का स्कोर कार्ड दिखा. Just because I wanted to evoke some memories.
उन्हें वहां जाके भी क्या देखा रयान 1.3 मीटर से इधर करे 2.7 मीटर से विंड इधर का मां क्या न्यूज़ है यार माशाल्लाह.
This is why you have to join chasing the target. Someone like Ryan does all his research and he talks. So
knowledge about the wind, the rain, the knowledge of the wind, the rain, the sun, the moon,
and the elements, the fire.
Faiz also has Faiz
No,
also
no,
has
it's
Faiz bhai is,
only gut feeling.
gut feeling, which is also very entertaining. But yeah, let's before we move on to the news, let's move on to tomorrow's games. There's a triple decker, so let's go on to fantasy
Oh
pick
yes,
section
sir.
and pick the main players. You guys ready?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Bangladesh, South Africa, India versus Netherlands, and then Pakistan, Zimbabwe. It's full packed, action packed Thursday. So let's start off with the.
अभी बोल दे रहा हूँ KL राहुल मारने वाला है 100 का.
And apparently Athia Shetty is in the stands to watch him.
That's
Double
in our.
Zabardast निकाला है.
That's how
Bhai, ab to
that's
one.
in our fresh of the press section, and you have to
Oh,
keep that.
sorry, sir. Sorry,
You
sir,
have
for
to tell us-
invading the.
No, no, you can say whenever you want, aapka show, yeah. But I'm just saying, remember that when I bring you up, I want the details
sir.
about that also. Abu
I
Bakr
was just
Zaid-
joking. I don't know if it's true or not. I was just,
No.
making how
Okay, you have to
kids
tell
on
us-
sports day do it.
While I asked Faiz about his fantasy picks, you can do your research and you can check. But we need to know this information. Faiz, South Africa versus Bangladesh. Your players to watch out for. If you want, I can start. But
Nobody. It's gonna rain and South Africa की लग जाने वाली है.
नहीं कहाँ है मैच?
I
Sydney,
think
bro. Sydney,
Sydney
the
में
upper
Sydney.
house, bro.
Two Sydney पाकिस्तान के MCG पे है शायद या पर्थ पे.
नहीं,
पर्थ
पर्थ
पे.
पे.
पाकिस्तान का
पाकिस्तान
पर्थ
का.
में होगा. ये टाइम मेरे को पर्थ टाइमिंग दिख रही.
इंडिया का सिडनी में है.
India में Sydney and Bangladesh also Sydney. So India will they will be playing on just after that game. It'll be a different pitch though, I think. Pakistan versus Zimbabwe is at Perth. Yeah, हाँ बोलो Faiz. Continue to
मैं
go.
बोलता हूँ देखो I'll tell you नहीं KDB रबाडा तो एक है and एक महाराजा क्या है महाराजा ही है महाराज
कैसा महाराज?
Yeah, Keshav Maharaj, she's gonna be the cook. अच्छा, conditions के हिसाब से डाल लेता हूँ बेहतरीन निकाल लेता. बंगालियों को like Bangladesh players like उतना great नहीं खेले last time. They had issues with their batting as we clearly saw. And
अंदर कर देंगे
यार सबसे पहले शाकिब भाई के मार देंगे यार विकेट से मेरे को. शाकिब भाई sorry. Yeah, so the Bengali Tigers.
Even the game they played against Netherlands, it wasn't that convincing, right?
Support कर रहा भाई. यहाँ देखो टाइगर है.
No, I'm saying जो Netherlands से game खेले, even that they weren't convincing enough. So it's going to be a tough ask tomorrow against South Africa. मगर कुछ भी नहीं बोल सकते. आज Ireland जीत गई, कुछ भी हो सकता है. बारिश भी पड़ सकती है, कुछ भी हो सकता है. Anything can happen.
Yeah, but the way South Africa started their innings, बहुत ज़्यादा उन्ना ready to go थे. And बबूमा को छोड़ के भाई बबूमा को छोड़ के.
ये time बबूमा को strike मिलेंगी तो back to factory settings. Strike rate of 75. मैं बोल रहा हूँ.
Rayan, from Bangladesh's side, who are you picking?
I'm picking Mustafizur Rahman. I want him to perform well. And someone, the pavilion show that comes on, I think, Pakistani television, Misbah-ul Haq pointed out about Musaddiq Hussain, a very talented batsman. And I've actually gone and looked at his highlights. That is another pick. He should be promoted up the order. So that's another player I'm looking forward to watch.
He bats like a lower middle order, right? Like 6, 7.
Number 7, number 8. Very explosive batsman and very, he's been in form, I think, recently as well. So Musaddiq Hussain and
they've also stopped that Mehdi Hassan experiment opening the batting, right? He was opening the batting in the tri-series, but now I think it's Soumya Sarkar is there, so they're going with him and Ajmul.
They've had 14 different opening combinations just this year. So I don't know, it's like एक lucky dip करते हो लोग before the match किसको खिलाएंगे. Even we can't guess who
they play some honestly predicting their batting lineup and their 11 is becoming tricky with Bangladesh. Kuch na kuch they keep changing in the order. They don't have something stable in that way. But if I look at this, I think I'll probably go with Tuscan and Shakib Al Hasan. I just need Shakib to
Yeah.
perform, man. He's the main player. He's the
Yeah,
captain. When Shakib's in form, he can take down any attack. I've seen that in the past. He is a quality player. He has a lot of issues, which and our the owner of this channel, Mr. Abrar Aziz, doesn't has issues with Shakib's personality, but he's the guy. If you need someone to take down South Africa, Shakib is the guy.
yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult. And I
Nah,
agree with
yeah,
Faiz in terms of South Africa, Rabada, but I want to see Riley Rousseau, man. Uh,
yeah. Wow, Riley
Yeah.
Rosso.
If he gets going,
I'm
man, he can
sorry. Yes, man. I'm actually from South Africa. I'm
Christian
waiting
Stubbs.
for Tristan Stubbs. Yeah, to be honest, I was going to say Tristan Stubbs and
Aiden Markram.
But
not Aiden Markle. Apna utna
Okay.
utna bhi nahi. I want to watch Anrik Nokia's 150 plus bowling.
The thing though is with Nokia, I noticed that at times like in the UAE and stuff, he can be very effective. But I've seen him like in India also, and also at times in Australia in different conditions when the pitch is a bit flat, he can go for a lot of runs. So
But I think after yeah, see, Abrar bhai, he knows me. हम लोग एग्री कर रहे थे फिस्ट फॉर बांग्लादेश एंड नोकिया फॉर साउथ अफ्रीका
yeah. But of course, I
भाई
think for Bangladesh,
तुम
he's facing
सीईओ के पीछे पीछे है, तुम्हारा पगार बढ़ाना है और कुछ नहीं.
फिर और क्या है हमारा
Shakib is bang average. I mean, maybe now, but like overall, he's a great player, man.
No, with Saqib, what happened in the last match was to see उन्हें अपना experience. So the experience that he brings to the table, he totally threw it out the ground. He should have stayed at that point of time. 2 wickets down, he should have actually played a slow innings and sort of a convincing innings. But he went on and hit that stupid shot and got out in the deep. So I think Shakib really needs to calm his nerves and improve his whatever Don according personality problems there, and really needs to bring in that experience as a captain and sort of lead the team and not get emotional and sort of waste his wicket. And with the ball also, like Mustafa said, we've seen him all around the world. Like he's the most reputed or known player for Bangladesh that's ever played, and I think he can really turn the game in Bangladesh's favor.
Yeah, good point over there. I think that wraps up the South Africa versus Bangladesh game. Then India versus Netherlands. Faiz is triple captaining KL Rahul. It seems.
Yeah, 100%. I'm like, मैं कल खून में लिख के दे देता हूँ निकल 50 तो मार रहा हूँ.
50 मार रहा KL Rahul.
मीरकिन जो भी है
Ball back
जो
नहीं
भी है उसको लग दे रहा हूँ.
Mirkin. Well, pronouncing like he's from Nampally or something.
American.
But yeah, I think KL Rahul, Surya Kumar, Rohit Sharma, they'll all be,
licking their
Tomorrow
chops.
is basically, I mean, with all due respect to the Dutch team, tomorrow is basically a warm-up match, provided बारिश कुछ उंगली नहीं करे.
Yeah.
Tomorrow-
But आज देखे
every World Cup.
let's not count them out.
in every World Cup we get like whenever Netherlands playing, अपन हमेशा Netherlands से खेलते देख लो तुम. हमेशा अपने ग्रुप में Netherlands होता. So it's like a warm-up match, भाई.
No, but 2009 Netherlands beat England. Remember that in the first game
Yeah.
of the T20 World Cup.
14 में भी
इंग्लैंड को हराए.
14 में भी
इंडिया को कब हराए? इंग्लैंड को. इंडिया को हरा के बताओ बोलो.
हाँ, मैं सीधा से बोलूं अगर कुछ बारिश वारिश का सीन हो गया रखो तो I'm
हाँ,
closing
वो
the-
अलग बात है.
I'll close it.
seriously.
India versus
राहुल फिर गुस्सा निकालेंगे अब किसके ऊपर बांग्लादेश या जिम्बाब्वे
नहीं।
दोनों के ऊपर निकालेगा
मैं
बारिश
स्ट्रीम
चल
के
रही
बाद
है।
बोलूंगा किस पे निकालेंगा.
Yeah, but Rehan, do you agree with KL Rahul as the fantasy pick for tomorrow?
मेरे को दो लोगों का सेम फैंटेसी पिक नहीं रहना तो I'm going to allow Faiz bhai to have his triple captain points and I will go for my boy Sky Surya Kumar Yadav for India and थोड़ा बहुत पावर प्ले में एक थोड़े रन्स मार ले रहे नेदरलैंड्स से मैक्स और डाउट के लिए I'm going to go for my fantasy.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that, but
Max O'Dowd is a good shout, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
बंदे का forearm and power too much है यार ऊपर.
आप लोग विराट कोहली को लाइट ले रहे हैं. I think he had a decent.
नहीं अब जरा रेस्ट लेता आज के मैच फिर उन्हें साउथ अफ्रीका से रीसर्फेस करना है
विराट कोहली का क्या है भाई, बड़े मैचों में बड़ा प्लेयर बोलना है, छोटे मैचों में छोटे केएल राहुल ये सब छोटे प्लेयर हैं.
अन्ना देखना ये वीडियो
भाई तुम किंग को कब बुलाते? किंग चेस में एक ही स्टेप लेता, वो एक स्टेप ऐसा लेता कि आप समझना भाई किंग की लेवल क्या है.
But maybe he's going for his 72nd 100, bro. Faiz.
या ब्रो
I think
Inshallah,
that's how
man.
Virat Kohli thinks, bro.
Yeah, of course, like he's like one of my heroes as well. So I mean, definitely वो mentality तो रहेंगी वो की, but
Make hay
थोड़ा
while the sun shines.
किंग को थोड़ा ठंडा भी रखना, किंग को, because next match फिर अपना बड़ा रहेगा फिर, so you know. But King might be one of the top scorers of the tournament, inshallah.
Yeah, I have a feeling he might end up with the most runs.
Virat
The way
Kohli.
he's going.
Virat Kohli. KL Rahul, most ducks के लिए I think I'm going to go for KL Rahul.
No,
People
group
get upset with KL Rahul.
Why are we piling on KL Rahul? He's a very good player, very talented.
That's what I'm saying.
थोड़ा dry
People are
patch चल
getting
रहा
really
उसका.
upset with him.
Yeah.
If I was not
जब
saying
सर-
that, even my brother, like a lot of people, like they get upset with KL Rahul. I guess because he's a
जब
very
सर-
talented player and he's not, he doesn't make the most of it, especially in big games.
जब जरूरत रहती भाई, जब बड़े टीमों से खेलना रहता, तुम्हारे कहाँ चले आते?
Ghost कर देता.
गोस्ट भी नहीं करता,
Romelu
गोस्ट को
Lukaku
भी
है
दिखता,
Indian team में.
गोस्ट को भी फीलिंग देता, मैं ने तो फीलिंग भी नहीं दे रहा.
And then the
तो मैं
last
कल तो मेरा पट्टा है उन्हें, कल तो उसको देख लो तुम ना क्या स्ट्रोक प्ले रहेगा और क्या बाउंड्रीज मारेगा. इतना फोकस दिखेगा कि तुम्हारे को सोचना कि भाई अनिश पाकिस्तान में नहीं कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो गया था, he was not well, he went through a emotional problem, कुछ तो भी सोचना, ऐसा लगा देता मजबूर उन्हें. कल ऐसा खेलने वाला है
भाई, जाने दो बेचारे केएल को.
अच्छा, मुस्ती Ryan, do you think Harshal Patel will play tomorrow?
No, I think
Or
they
same team?
go with the same lineup. I don't think
I
they
thought
will
he
rest.
would have
After
played,
we qualified.
Yeah, I thought he would have played instead of Hardik, but in the press conference, the bowling coach mentioned that Hardik Pandya is fit and he'll play tomorrow. So, according to that, unless he's doing a double bluff, according to that, then I don't think they're going to make any change. Shami needs overs, right? Shami needs to bowl as many overs as possible.
उन्हें भी golf खेला क्या?
कौन?
Which bluff बोल रहे हैं ना, double bluff.
Yeah,
You
no.
said golf खेला.
Unless it's that, I think they'll go with the same team. Shami needs to play. Again, Ashwin और Chahal का toss up हो सकता, but if Ashwin doesn't play, फिर batting light हो जाती.
मेरे हिसाब से I think same lineup.
Same
मेरे
lineup.
हिसाब से मैं खुला बोलता है, I would want to see Deepak Hooda play instead of Akshar Patel.
Yeah, that's a
Just
good
for the
shot.
batting.
But two off spinners हो जाते हैं. We don't have the left arm spinner.
It's a
चलता
decent
है वो
shot.
लेफ्ट आर्म स्पिनर 21 रन से के पिंडे में मिला दिया यार, वो लेफ्ट को राइट कर दिया, राइट को लेफ्ट कर दिया.
कितने ओवर डाला? एक ओवर डाला, 2 ओवर डाला अक्षर पटेल.
एक ओवर में
चाचू का इंस्पिरेशन था वो दिन. चाचू वो दिन क्या की खा के आए थे, इसलिए हुआ वो सब.
Yeah, but that's the thing also, right, Faiz? Like, एक गेम के बाद उसको ड्रॉप कर दिया तो फिर कॉन्फिडेंस भी एक चीज होता है. अक्षर पटेल is somebody who can actually win you games with the ball as well. As the tournament progresses, if there's any hint of turn, it becomes difficult to play him because उन्हें तेज डालता, right, अंदर. तो अगर थोड़ा सा टर्न रहता उन्हें आपका मैच विनर बन सकता है in that way. मगर if the pitches are true, then he will get hit. Akshar Patel का वैसे ही है. That's why Jadeja was a big miss. Last game Pakistan versus Zimbabwe. Babar Rizwan 200 partnership बोल रहा हूँ मैं.
ये तो केएल राहुल हो गया, केएल राहुल into 2 हो गया.
वो लोग ये 200 आपका कराची की 55 मीटर बाउंड्री नहीं है, 200 की पार्टनरशिप कर लेने सर भाई. पर्थ में
और भाई
ग्राउंड है.
किससे खेल रहे हो ना?
Zimbabwe.
सिक्की भाई से खेल रहे हैं.
Exactly. सिक्कू भाई शीरपाड़ है. सिक्कू भाई हेलो, सिक्कू भाई से नको लग लो. सिक्कू भाई लास्ट टाइम मालूम था बारिश होने वाली है, आउट हो गए जल्दी. He wanted a day off. He wanted to go sip an espresso थोड़ा. ऑस्ट्रेलिया फिर क्या थे बेगम को लेके.
Because it's in Perth again. Haris Rauf, Naseem Shah, these guys will be effective, man.
Yeah. I'm looking for Pakistan bowling, and in Perth, mostly the winners of the toss have always made them have actually क्या बोलते हैं field करना choose करे. So I think I'm expecting the same again. Win the toss and field first. They've been 2 successful chases at Perth, so I think the same fall होने वाली.
Yeah, I agree with you. And blessing also from Zimbabwe's side, he can cause some problems for Pakistani batting who had issues on these pitches. So watch out for that. It won't be as easy for Pakistan. Like you said, the Perth is a different type of pitch. But I think 95%, I think Pakistan will win this game because they did play well against India. They were unlucky.
But the mental impact of that loss, I don't know if they're still feeling. What the close loss. I don't know how it could influence them in a negative way.
Sometimes I feel it's harder to recover from that kind of loss than if you get whipped by like 100 runs.
120, it's easier to get over because ऐसा रहता है कि bad day for everyone. But you've played so well, you've put in everything, and then you've lost. Yeah, I agree with you.
And the amount of energy you put in, right? Like the amount of energy and sweat that you put in that game, I think that it saps everything out of you, and
Exactly.
you don't have much left in the tank. Whereas if you get smashed, then it's you know that bhai ye bahut galat kare, this is what we have to
How?
focus on.
I agree.
Yeah, so for you the fantasy picks is the bowlers, huh? Pakistan.
Fantasy picks, yeah. I'm going for Haris Rauf is going to be now my number one fantasy pick. And after a poor performance in the last game, I think Shadab Khan is someone who I'm looking for
Good shout.
in the second.
Faiz.
So Haris Rauf and Shadab Khan.
I am going to go with Mr. Afridi because Afridi will kill it.
He
Kal
didn't
bhi
look
unhone-
100%, huh? He looked like 70% in that game. He didn't look 100% in the India game.
Not actually. Till his third over, he was actually decent. वो fourth over जो
But even
विराट
if you
कोहली
notice in the
उसको
beginning,
नंगा
because
कर
he
दिया.
didn't get hit, but your boy was डर के खेल रहा था. There was not much swing. अगर जाके closely मैं because I was
Yeah,
again
I
quite a
think-
few times, that's why I noticed it. But it's not something that I noticed live because I was similar opinion to Faiz that he did bowl well on his comeback, but I noticed he wasn't getting swing. It was Rohit and KL Rahul were tentative against him. He was not Virat Kohli. If you notice that when he came for the second spell, first ball he came आगे बढ़ के मारने गया. He didn't connect, but you could tell that Kohli sniffed. He knew that this guy's not 100%.
And
and in the go ahead.
no, you go ahead first. आप पहले सब.
And even in the last over that he bowled, you see everything was going down. Like Kohli even flicked him twice to the boundary and stuff like that. So I think he's not 100%. Yeah, maybe it was just the pressure that got to him because obviously the king is standing down in front of you. But yeah, I still feel like the warm-up matches were really convincing that the way he was actually bowling and he was getting that swing. So I'd go for Shaheen, and yeah, I feel like Rizwan is also going to play good. Zimbabwe के उसमें तो सिक्कू भाई के अलावा probably the Madhavire who was actually
Exactly, Wesley Mathevere.
Yeah, Mathevere is good, but again उसका position change करते रहे तो maybe he's gonna have a problem.
The thing is also they're playing in Perth. Pakistan paces are deadly, man. I think it's going to be very difficult. Like Sikku Bhai has to be at the top of his game. It's not going to be easy for him.
Yeah,
Sikku
Bhai,
because
next level कुछ खा के आना. Next
extra
level
bounce
ताकत की
रहेगा,
चीज़
pace रहेगा. Like it's going to be a pretty tough challenge Pakistan के against Don is saying Irvine. Sorry, Faiz, you can go.
Yeah, opener. I agree with Don because opening में have to be solid क्योंकि जब ball कैसा it's coming like a fireball at them at Perth, bounce होके carry जो आ रही है almost to the halfway 30-yard circle के बाहर तक जा रहा bounce. So I agree with him. Irvine and कौन है दूसरा opener? Chakabawa. So these two guys will have to be on top of their game against Rauf and Afridi and Naseem. So I agree with him. Yeah, I think if Irvine he uses experience, he can come on top.
Yep. That wraps up all three games, all three fantasy picks. Let's just move on to fresh off the press before we wrap up. Good to go, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good to go, sir.
आज खबर का सिलसिला रैन भाई शुरू करेंगे. He was saying something in the beginning of the show.
नहीं साहब, वो खबर जो है मैं अभी जाके वेरीफाई करा. It is in fact Athiya Shetty is in Bangalore and not in or rather Mumbai and not in Sydney. So I think I was fed the wrong news by my sources today. Tomorrow I will come back with better news. So I'll have to give my sources a talking to, and then I will come back and give you more verified news. So today I don't have any news to give to you.
News that I got today is, I mean, the whole world got it, not just me, is that कल के प्रैक्टिस सेक्शन के बाद इंडियन टीम को हंसना को फैज में मजाक नहीं कर रहा हूँ. इंडियन टीम को ठंडे सैंडविचेस मिले.
क्या हुआ?
सुक्का वड़ा पाव भी था रोहित के.
The Indian team after practice in the Sydney cricket ground, they were served cold sandwiches and the falafel, and they were not happy with the food given to them after training. They wanted some hot food and some protein. मैं मजाक नहीं करूँ. This came on आज तक. It came on quite a few news channels. Even India Today has.
रोहित को बेद की छड़ी लेके पीछे भागना. पहले तो फलाफल खा रहा और ठंडे सैंडविचों का कंप्लेन कर रहा. तेरे को खाना भी नहीं देना अभी हिसाब से.
अरे मैं मजाक नहीं कर रहा.
सही है.
सही में
मजाक है. बोलो बारिश के कंडीशन से यार कच्चा भी हो गया अंडे, लेकिन तुम खाओ जो भी दे रहे. तुम्हारे को पिंडा.
I think the thing
रोहित
is,
को गरम गरम वड़ा पाव होना था जो नहीं मिला उसको बेचारे को.
I think it's
शो
just a
के
matter.
बाद शो के बाद बोलता हूँ क्या होना था.
I think it's just a matter of cultural difference in Australia, European countries. यही मिलता है आपको, like you get cold sandwiches, like tuna sandwiches and everything like that.
Yeah,
हमारे को
Turkey
थोड़ा सा
club.
गरम, like it doesn't have to be samosa or anything, but like hot food. Maybe even if it's like pasta or something, it should be hot. I think that's what they're expecting, like a burger or whatever it is. Like even if it's healthy,
Burger.
not a burger, but like a sandwich, chicken sandwich, grilled chicken sandwich, hot. That's what they're
भाई
probably
तो
expecting.
तुम चक दे इंडिया देखे हो, पंजाबी कैसा बुफे में घुल जाती, मतलब घुल जाना भाई, खामोश जो भी दे रहे खा लेना, खींचना जो भी है.
And
ये
another
सैंडविच
thing
नहीं
is,
मिला,
सबको वेज खाना
तुम
मिल
रन्स
रहा.
कितना, और तुम रन्स कितने मारे यार, 10 रन मार के तुम सैंडविच होना, तुम्हारा
But yeah, apparently there's no written official complaint or whatever. But I don't know why this was the main news today, and all the news channels were reporting this. So that's why I thought we had to discuss it, because it's a.
One
But I
news
don't.
I saw, I don't know if it's right or if it's wrong, but apparently Erasmus, the umpire, apologized for his decision on the no ball
No, that was
on
a fake
Twitter.
account on Twitter from what
That
I
was a
saw.
fake account. That was a
Yeah,
parody
that's-
account.
Oh, अच्छा ऐसा है. सॉरी, मैं कोई वही लगा एकदम से apologize कर दे रहा शायद.
I think it was Ryan that day. It was us three talking. Ryan that day got a spot on, right? Like it's a 50-50 call. He gave it no ball. If it goes to third umpire, which I thought it should have been, Ryan said, not Ryan, I think Vinay said, someone said that it was going to be,
Vinay.
it's going to be umpire's call. So if it, soft signal, sorry, it's going to be soft signal. Soft signal is no ball. So वही होता था.
Vinay bhai told us frame भी गायब हो गया था कुछ.
That was a different game. But yeah, I think that pretty much. And also another thing was the Indian team didn't practice today because they had
Sandwich नहीं मिला.
नहीं, practice ground
मालूम था
आज
ये आने वाला था.
Bangladesh or South Africa were practicing the SCG. There's actually right now 5 or 6 teams in Sydney. So they rotate.
जगह नहीं मिल रही.
जगह नहीं मिल रही सिडनी. कल इंडिया प्रैक्टिस
बुकिंग है बहुत हो गया यार फैज भाई, क्या करेंगे? रहमान भाई को
अरे
खोलो एक
होटल के कमरे में इंडोर क्रिकेट तो भी खेलो, प्रैक्टिस अच्छी रहती.
सब खेले. विराट कोहली भी आया. रोहित शर्मा was in the nets twice yesterday, so he's been practicing.
Was he in the nets or was he in the kitchen?
He was in the nets. He was in the net.
And after that he went to the kitchen and डांटा, वड़ा पाव कहाँ है मेरा भाई?
सीधा फ्रिज खोल के ये तो नहीं दे रहे.
और ये भी हो सकता है कि प्लेयर को फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Maybe staff was the one who got upset because वो लोग भी भूख लगती है after they train and stuff. We don't know. कौन complain करे क्या करे.
इतनी बड़ी चीज करना कहीं कुछ छोटा जाके बोल देना भाई जरा कुछ भी डोसे डाल दो बाद में. I mean they're all well enough to like earn a meal. I mean so like get a meal. So I mean
छोटी issue is just like वैसी खबर लाने के लिए बोल दिए होंगे. It's not a big issue. Like either way it will be solved. I don't think it's much of a problem in that way. It's like, it's funny more than anything because it will get
मजाक नहीं. मैं तो रोहित का साथ रहा तो सीधा अंडे उबले हुए अंडे व्हाइट सैंड खाली प्रोटीन शेक में रखा था उसको 2 महीने.
But yeah, that wraps it up. We have I just want to give you guys a sneak peek to another section that we have, and in this section we'll be talking about the captains and strategies of captains. So Rayan Fez, watch this and we'll have more things planned in this section in the future.
क्या डाले भाई.
Basically discussing captaincy strategies, tactics, sandwiches, and a lot of things about the captains.
I liked how it was from like a lot of different eras, like it was Vinay's World Cup, the 92, then your World Cup where Ricky Ponting came, then my World Cup where MS Dhoni was there.
Oh damn, I thought your World Cup was that one, the Gilchrist squash ball 2007.
No, but I thought your World Cup was Clive Lloyd.
Who?
Fez bhai's World Cup. Clive Lloyd का first.
वो रणवीर सिंह का era यार 83.
But yeah, so we'll talk about strategies. For example, more than strategy, we need to talk about form. Yeah, the captain, I think this is what Don is saying. Basically, let's just talk about that now, like for a few minutes. This captain's corner, Rayan, all captains have been out of form, man. Whether it's Bavuma, Rohit Sharma, Butler, recently Finch in particular, Babar Azam getting out of it. Yeah, so feeling the pressure the captains in Australia.
Yeah, I think they are focusing more on how they are setting their team up to play and what the decision making and all. And that is taking a lot of their time and their focus away from focusing on their own batting. And I think as we go on and they figure out what their best combinations are and how best to use their field placements. So I think they're well versed with that and all, and how to rotate their bowlers and their teams. Then you could see their batting. Come back into form, or if your captain is a bowler, then that comes back into form. For example, Dasun Shanaka also got out recently. I mean, all of them have been out of form pretty much. So I except Craig Irvine, I guess that's one captain I have my eyes on. And Bavuma to kabhi form mein tha hi nahi, so let's not talk about him. So I think once they figure out how what the team setup is and they get into a good rhythm, then they will be able to focus more on their own batting, and so that's when you'll see them come back into form. So that's my opinion.
And for our captain, I think it's once he sort out the diet and the kitchen, I think then he'll come back to form.
But I think he has the most pressure job, man. Like so did Virat Kohli, so did MS Dhoni. The Indian team captain always has to think 10 things before making a decision. Also because it's not just the pressure from the outside and everything. It's also because there's so much talent and everything. One mistake you make in team selection, kha jate press wale. So Rohit Sharma has to be very particular. I just feel that it's just a matter of coincidence that because we've seen captains in the past in past World Cups also having pressure but performing. I just feel it's a matter of coincidence. Like most of them are openers and they're just not performing. I'm not looking into it too much into that. It's just Vessi and Rohit Sharma, I think, is one good innings away. The way he plays right now, he might not get you consistent runs, but he'll get you that odd 70 or 40, 50 balls. He'll give you that start.
Yeah.
The way he's playing his cricket is a bit different now, so he's not going to take too much time. Like a Virat Kohli, Hardik Pandya, they did consume deliveries. Rohit Sharma is not going to do that. I don't think he's going to do that unless he really needs to score runs and he feels the pressure in that way. But yeah, Faz, in terms of captaincy, also it's not just the bowling changes, fielding changes, the batting order, but keeping your players calm. Also, if you notice when we play cricket, I'm sure this happens at international level. It happens a lot at international level. दूसरे प्लेयरों को ठंडा रखना, बीच में there's Kohli and there's Hardik there. For Pakistan, there's Shadab coming in, there is Rizwan. Even though Rizwan's not vice captain, we saw him do a lot of the things. So for a captain, it's very important. And how do you manage to see control, especially in pressure situations? Because you saw, in that Pakistan game, there's like 6-7 people crowding Nawaz at that time.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest thing, for a captain is to lead by example. I mean, the best we can say is basically like Dhoni. For Dhoni, any situation was never too it was pressure. Like you always say the same thing. Like, even I'm pretty sure Dhoni felt pressure as well. Yeah. But if you are leading with a calm front and you sort of rely at that time, you're sort of relying on your players to give you the best and just leaving the rest on the what's going to happen. And being very realistic at that point of time rather than going in a hot head and sort of losing. So if it's a trickle down effect, right? So if it's you lose your cool and someone who's hot headed like a Virat Kohli or a Shadab or like someone else, they're going to lose it. And if they're going to lose it, it's going to be a negative vibe in the team. So everyone is just going to be shouting at each other.
Yeah.
So I think that is the most important thing where you have to understand what kind of an influence you have on your team. So if you have a major influence, like in the case of Rohit or Babar Azam, so that if I break down here, then there are already people who are 10 times hot-headed, much more hotter in their head rather than yourself, and that is going to have an effect on the youngsters where these guys have no experience, like the likes of Naseem and the what do you call who was young, probably the Sky is not young, but just a new player in the team. So I think it will really take an impact on them. So it's like you really have to think. It's like your brother. It's like a brother situation. Like if the bigger brother is bursting out and the smaller brother reacts. So I think for unity and togetherness, rakhne ke liye, the captain really has to set an example.
And every team, there's one core leadership group, who are mostly behind the influence, and they have always, they've learned from their seniors and seen how they have managed them, how they managed to keep them calm. And so, as Fezbhai said, this influence has a trickle-down effect, and ye jate rehta until the youngsters, and they'll do that when they become the seniors in their team. So that you learn from one generation to the other, and you adapt your own current generation mein jo hai, and how to influence the the players who are new, as he said, and the young ones. So it is a collaborative effort here to keep your team cool
Exactly.
and
So
calm in these
Yeah,
situations.
yeah.
yeah, so if the
So
captain does not respect the youngster and the youngster don't receive that respect, I think it could really make a breakdown. Because if the captain, like my captain, who मेरे हिसाब से करो rather than saying भाई आओ साथ में करेंगे, and if the youngster doesn't respect him and अरे तू जो भी बोल दे चले भाई तू जा भाई उसको he won't get that chance and that sort of thing. So it's like a two-way thing, but for a captain in any aspect, he has to maintain that dignity and sort of example that he with what he lead his team with.
Don said in cricket, captain's role is extremely important. Pressure is higher. Got to keep it cool. Not for everyone. I would say one thing though. I completely agree. Like we've seen Williamson, we've seen Dhoni, McCullum. These guys are calm influences on their team and they keep the composed. But then I've seen captains like Ricky Ponting, Saurav Ganguly in the past, Graham Smith. These guys are fiery captains. They give it to their players. Sarfaraz also, I'm considering him a successful captain because he won that Champions Trophy with that Pakistan team. I think it was a sensational achievement. He also used to give it
Yeah.
to his players. So I think there are different. You don't have to be calm to be a good captain. You can be aggressive. You can shout. You can chew your nails. You could be different, but it's more about the belief that you bring in the dressing room. Like Faz said, if you guys are a core and you understand he like, okay, my captain is this personality on the field, but off the field he's going to always back me, then I think it can work. Like for example, Saurav Ganguly उन्हें नाखूना खा लेता था, but he's the one who went Zair Khan को उठाया, मोहम्मद कैफ को उठाया, युवराज को उठाया. He backed youngsters, so the youngsters knew कि okay ने चिल्लाएंगा हमारे पे, but he's the one who brought us into this team. So I think there are different. You don't have to just be calm to be a good captain. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it is a multiple personality thing, but the personality has to come at the right time for the right thing. So you need to really understand the other person's perspective before you delegate a personality. You know what I mean? So I mean, if you got out accidental or you dropped a catch first, like sort of let's just say drop catch. अगर easy catch था, पुकारना वाजिब है. That other person will understand कि भाई मैं simple catch छोड़ा. अब difficult catch को तुम पुकार देंगे rather than being a friend saying no problem, continue, no problem. Let's play. I mean, the thing has to come at the right time. It shouldn't be for like an unvalid reason that you're just shouting for no reason. Then that's not a personality. That is just your temperament. I think that thing has to come at the right point where you're even appreciating, but you also let them know that I have a rough hand as well. So I think it's the balancing
Yeah.
that a captain really needs to understand.
Yeah, also, there's a lot of luck factor in it, and the thing is the buck stops with the captain. कुछ भी problem होता, like in football, the manager gets sacked first. In cricket, it's the captain. They have the high scrutiny because they have a lot of control during the game. उन लोग game चलाते हैं, so whatever happens there. That Joginder Sharma, if Srichan didn't take that catch, we wouldn't be talking about Dhoni as the greatest captain. अगर drop कर दिया और फिर अगले बार छक्का लग गया, तो it could have been different. So. You need a bit of luck as well as captain, I feel. Like Finch last year, he won the World Cup, right, as captain. Now, do you rate him as an amazing captain? Will he go down in the history books as Australia's successful captain because he's the only guy who's won a T20 World Cup for that country? But maybe not. Maybe you'll say कि Warner ने जिताया, so थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे रहता. That pretty much wraps it up. You guys, any last thoughts going to tomorrow? It's a triple header in Australia.
Sit back and relax. That's my last thought, and enjoy KL Rahul's knock tomorrow.
Enjoy KL Rahul's innings. It's gonna be a cracker. Hopefully, rain stays away in all three games. We want to see some good cricket. If there's an upset here and there, that will also be interesting. If India gets upset, then maybe our phones will be closed. We don't mind seeing an upset here and there. But I'm picking probably India, Pakistan, South Africa to win the games. Pakistan, just that bowling attack, I find it really good, man.
And one thing I wanted to add, something I didn't add in the fresh of the press, there's a newfound rivalry between Pakistan and Zimbabwe because of a Twitter war, because of a fake Mr. Bean who duped the Zimbabwean locals and actually made money off of them, and he got state security.
This is true again.
ये कल का match double fiery होने वाला है between the fans. So
the guy who posted it today, he was pissed, and then he's become famous now on Twitter. He's like, bro, we want revenge. Apparently, Mr. Bean बन के चले गया Zimbabwe में. He went and took money off a lot of people. He attended events, took pictures with people. उसको proper car parade था.
Is it this guy who actually looks like Mr. Bean? Because I've seen him.
Yeah, it is him. Yes.
अच्छा वो
He's a
uncle
politician या TV figure है कोई वो पाकिस्तान का.
उन्हें जिम्बाब्वे जाके पैसे लूट लिया बेसिकली. तो ये भी खबर है along with your sandwiches.
बेचारे यार पहले खैर Bichare.
Yeah. So yeah, that wraps it up. Thank you guys for joining me today. It was a fun chat today. We learned
Yes.
quite a few
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Some lighthearted stuff which I enjoyed also, and enjoy the games. There's a lot of cricket to absorb tomorrow, so get some good rest
Hopefully.
today, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow.
See
Please
ya.
like, subscribe. Please
Bye.
Please
stuff.
guys, like, subscribe. पूरे यहाँ पर है कोने में on the
Yes,
page.
बहुत important चीज बोला रहे हैं. Like and subscribe and share with your friends and family. Thank you so much. Take care, guys. Good night.
Good night, guys.